Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Thank you for joining us today. We are about to get started. I just want to do a quick sound check. If you could let me know if you can hear and see us all right by writing into the question box. Thank you. Well, good morning and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Beth Hawley with the Arizona Realtors, and we're proud to bring you these free webinars designed exclusively to keep you updated on issues in the industry. Today's presentation will be about 45 minutes long. If you have any questions during the presentation, please write them into the question box and we'll be sure to answer them at the end of the presentation. Also, if you'd like to change the way the screen is so that you can see the video and the PowerPoint, just move the slider separating the webcam and the PowerPoint presentation and drag. So as always, today's presentation is recorded and will be available on our website at aaronline.com next week. So joining us today are Arizona Realtors Michelle Durnell and Patti Sampson. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining us.
Hi there. How are you?
Great.
Thank you very much. We're happy to be here.
So let me.
Most of the talking, Beth.
Yes. Let me turn everything over to Patti, and we will let you guys go. Okay, Patti, you should have everything now.
Okay, let me get everything up here. Give me one sec. I'm going to share my screen in a second. Okay, there we go. I'm going to share my screen. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and hit the camera because I like to be on camera. It's my only opportunity to share. Can you guys see? I don't know how big it is. Is it too big? I'm not sure.
No, it's perfect.
It's good on your end? Okay, it's kind of big on my end.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming I'm on camera. So, hi everybody, I'm Patti Sampson. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to have an opportunity to share with all of Arizona Association of Realtors. It's a wonderful place to be to do business, right? Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about me because we only have 40. I really kind of want to get through this in 30 minutes, and I hope that I can get through it and then have some time for questions. Go ahead and plop your questions into the Q&A box throughout the entire webinar today, and I'll do everything I can. Someone's going to monitor them, so they'll wave me down when something comes up, and we'll do what we can to answer them as fast as we can. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Patti Sampson. I have been a real estate agent here in Arizona for the last, I'm pushing 16, just past 16 years. Prior to that, I spent 17 years in the legal field, and I always tell people that because I was able to type 100 words a minute when I got out. Now, of course, that was many years ago. The typing made me efficient, okay? So my efficiency ends up making me money. So I'm going to talk to you about how that worked. But basically, my entire career has been spent working strictly internet leads, except for all the referral business. Now, I closed 42 deals in my first year in real estate working internet business. And so why is this important? Because I could not have done it without my drip campaigns. And so I was excited when I got the opportunity to come and teach you all about what I've learned through using CRM tools, automating my follow-up, and obviously having engagement in my drip campaign. So we're going to get started. I'm not going to go through the rest of this. But I did kind of want to show you a little bit about what our life is like. If you're like me, our real estate business tends to go up and down, where today we're really excited about something that's going on, and then tomorrow we are not doing so well, nobody's calling or nobody's picking up the phone, and then we're out showing homes, and then the next thing we know, the people disappeared, right? And this is pretty much our life, right? So the reason you need to get automated is so that we can try to level this out a little bit more. I train agents all over the country on this subject of lead conversion and follow-up. And one of the things I know is that we are always losing opportunities for sales. And that's because we're really bad, unfortunately, at the follow-up and the staying in front of people for long term. So our goal really is everything that we do is to automate the things that we can automate and do the things that we do really well, and that's connecting with people by phone and in person. So if you can automate the stuff on the back end, you're going to make your life so much better and close more deals through long-term engagement. So I usually like to start out with, like, where is your business coming from before we start talking about these drip campaigns. So you may be doing some of these online leads. Some of the other stuff you might be doing would be farming or open houses. As far as I'm concerned, whether you're buying leads or generating them on your own, they all need to be treated and worked the same way, okay? So it's not just about internet, it's about every lead that you get through networking, marketing, any farming, any sitting open houses. I know some people have great success doing open houses, and I always was jealous of people that were really good at that. But if you've got a good way that you're getting leads, everything I'm going to tell you today is going to be helpful for you. But I do want to talk about the internet lead because most of us are kind of in this market right now, especially in Phoenix. It's a huge market, lots of realtors, lots of houses, lots of sales going on at any given time. Most of us are trying to get into the internet business at some point, doing either Facebook ads or buying leads from Zillow, whatever it is. So it's important that you understand the stats so that you can decide if this is going to make sense for you, right? So again, this is about setting yourself up correctly and understanding this to make sure that you're prepared, right? So we know from NAR that over 93% of people start their home search on the internet. This was a stat of a couple years ago, and I suspect it might be a little bit higher. But realistically, I mean, even my 90-year-old mother gets on Google and Google stuff. So we know that our consumers are there, right? So you have to decide, is this something you want to do? Because the majority of people are there. Unfortunately, NAR also says that 48% of agents don't respond to our leads. And that's pretty sad, right? And then when they do, it's going to take up to 2 days to respond. If I was in front of a live class right now and I could talk to you all, then maybe you can chime in. I mean, why do you think it takes up to 2 days for people to respond, or why people aren't responding at all? Because we think the leads suck? Maybe. We're too busy. We're out running around like, chicken with our heads cut off, trying to deal with all of our, appointments, and then come home and have to deal with our leads, and then we get tired and we just want to sit down and have a glass of wine or something, and we don't get to it. There's a million reasons, right? You know what your reason is. But studies show that consumers overwhelmingly use the agent who responds first, and that's, over 66% of the time. So if you're brand new to real estate, this is a great thing for you, because a warm body is kind of all they're wanting right now. Just pick up the phone, right? So we need to be fast and Johnny on the spot. But the average agent closes only 1% of their leads or less. And why do you think that is? It's because we don't have really good follow-up in place, right? So we know that. Better than average, we're 3 to 5%, right? So that's 100 leads, you're going to close 3 to 5, and you're wondering, well, why would I even do internet leads if this is the case? Well, the reality is we're doing it because we know that that's where the business is. And think about how much you're spending a month on leads. Some of us are at 500, 300, whatever. If it adds up over a year, it's like $6,000. Well, you know what your average commission is. What does that mean to you? How many deals do you need to close in order to break even, right? So we're going to think about all of this, but all of this comes into play when we're talking about our drip campaigns, okay? So you've probably already seen this somewhere along the way too. I'm not going to go read it all, but 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So I know you're looking at this going, oh my gosh, I got to pick up the phone 5 to 12 times and the people are going to slam their phones down on me. And the reality is they probably will if you did that. So, but you have to keep in mind that, the 5th to 12th contact is actually not just phone calls, okay? It's texting, it's email these days, it's retargeting ads, it's Facebook, it's social media, it's Instagram, that's contact, right? And when you can get in front of them and engage them and educate them, it'll be amazing how great you're going to get these, how much more you're going to get engagement and get people interested in what you're doing and saying. Now you become the authority. So also included in this also is listings. Like, people want listings. They want market updates. They want properties. They want anything they can get that will help them get educated on the process. So it's all part of that, and if you can automate the listings going out and the engagement, it's a slam dunk, right? So part of what I'm going to show you today are some secrets that I have. So this first secret is going to be automating, how automating will increase lead engagement, increase your sales. Okay, so let's talk about that. First, we need to understand the reasons we need to get automated, and that is not actually as easy as you think. First of all, we want to get all of our prospects in place. Now, I'll tell you a story about me. I started on the internet and I was going crazy. I had 2 teenage boys at home when I started in real estate, single mother, right? And so I was out on the road and writing and calling and just doing things, driving down the road while my kids were in the back seat, trying to keep them quiet, right? But while you're doing that, you've got pieces of paper all over the place, windows open, things flying everywhere. I mean, if this sounds like you, I mean, you're not alone, because I did that too. So our goal to automate, number one, is to get everything in one place. And believe it or not, automation can actually help generate leads for you. Okay, so it's something to consider when you're doing it, and I'll talk to you about how I did that. You're going to stay top of mind by automating as well, because I hear every day by training agents, like, I'm losing opportunities, right? And I don't want that. We want to obviously get repeat business and referral business from everybody we know. Identify the hot and warm business. We definitely want to do that. And organically increase our online visibility. I got on the first page of Google by my drip campaign. And when you get a second, I want you to run a search for North Phoenix luxury homes. And you all in Phoenix, you know how to spell Phoenix. Run a search for that, because you will find me, at least as of this date, which is, what is it, March 5th, somewhere in that window, 2019, because I don't know how long this is going to run. But you will find my website, AZ Excellence Team, at the top of the organic response. So when you get a second, check it out. I'm there for affordable and bargain, and I used my drip campaign to get there. Okay, I'm going to talk to you how I did it. Balance your personal life with your business life, which is always really, really important, obviously. So what are the reasons we're not automated now? Well, one, the complaints I hear is it takes too long. We don't want to do it. CRM is too hard to learn. We don't want to learn it. We don't even know where to start. And the last thing is we're too busy and we just don't want to do it. Even if we had the wherewithal to get the right content in there, we're just too busy. We don't want to do it. Okay? So let me talk to you about the most important steps to lead conversion. Okay, number one is you need to make a phone call. And a lot of this is going to come into play for your drip campaigns here. You need to make a phone call and text. Now you can automate the texting. You can kind of automate the phone call thing too, but I don't even want to go there. If you get a phone number, you better pick it up and call them, right? You want to send a new lead email and you're thanking them and start providing them information, okay? So that's really key. Then you want to start sending them market updates, okay? So this is content. The power of having your drip campaign set up is that you can do all this automatically, believe it or not. Okay, and then engaging campaign that's going to use a CRM tool that you're going to like and you're going to use, and have it go out long-term, high engagement. So it's all part of it. And then of course at the end, it's quick follow-up. So if somebody reaches out to you and they say, I want some help, or they start asking you questions, you better be ready. Okay, so if you're going to start this whole process of lead generation, these steps should take place on every single one of your leads. And this is how, this, by the way, is my own thing. I mean, I did this on every single lead, and now I train on it because it's what helped me close my 42 deals in real estate when I first started really working the internet business. So you can do it too. So what do you need? Let's talk about the difference between contact relationship management software and emailing software. Okay, so we have all these tools in our tool belt that we can go pay for, right? Contact relationship management, that's the CRM, are the companies that actually can email and also manage and track all the data that you're getting from any one of your lead sources, right? So we're all using all different types, and here's just a few of them. Boomtown, Commissions and Conversion, KV Core, some of you are now KV and Conversion, the same thing. Basically, those are kind of hybrids between website and drip and CRM tools that are built together. If you have the money, or you're part of a team or a brokerage that provides this stuff, you should be tapping into this if you can. Now, again, I mean, I'm a big believer to kind of keep things in my pocket, and if you happen to travel from brokerage to brokerage, that way you have it. But if you have a tool like the Boomtown Conversions Commissions type product, you should be using that as much as you can, because there's great power in that. However, you still can also connect with another CRM so that you can get like the whole gamut of everything if some of these don't have all the tools you want, okay? And then the last thing is the email software. You want to make sure that you understand that that is really just for dripping out mail and not always texting, okay? The BombBomb's video emailing, okay? So that's really more emailing. On the far left, it's all emailing plus all the other tools to help you manage your business. So please understand that there is a difference. And your database is only going to be as good as you can search it for the warm and hot business. Now, most of these tools can help you do that, but you need to understand that, you know, it's not just about drip campaigns. It's now, if you have an hour to do some prospecting, who are you going to work with today? And you're going to do it based on the engagement you're getting from your email campaigns, the people clicking on stuff you're sending out, that you're tracking what listings they're looking at and saving if you have a website to be able to do that, all of that fun stuff. Okay, secret number 2, how engaging email and text campaigns can save your business, okay? So the objective of your email and texting, okay, first of all is one, to get your clients to open and read them, right? That's your first objective. Your next is to get a response. So if you're not sending something engaging, it's not good enough, right? And then of course get an appointment. That's pretty slam dunk. But always engage and offer information. That's your goal in everything that you're doing when it comes to having a good drip campaign. All right, so let's talk about step number 1, okay? And when I said earlier about the importance of being able to get your mail open, you're never going to get a response unless somebody opens your mail. So I'm going to give you some tips here about what I did, because I did tell you earlier, I typed, you know, 100 words a minute. I don't anymore, by the way. I'm too old for all that. But I do have a lot of what I've done earlier on, and still continue to edit all of this through the years. But these are I used to play a game to see what could I say in the subject line to get people to open. So these are really, really important tips. Use their name in the subject line if you can. And if you needed to, use your own name. Now, for me, I'm going to give you a tip here in a minute about using your subject line with your from line. But if you want to use your name in there, sometimes they'll say, your new home list from Patti, so that they remember it's from me. Mention the city in which they're searching, which is really key, because they're going to probably, as they're looking through their big email list, how important is it for them to stop and go, wait, somebody's saying something about Scottsdale or Tempe or wherever we're at, right? Ask a question in your subject line, you know, and that way you're not, you know, you're enticing like curiosity, right? Get them to open it. Don't give away the store. And what that means is by writing your entire email in the subject line. So if you want them to open it and find out what it's about, right? So you don't want to just say, you know, vomit up everything in the subject line, and then they're going to make a decision to open it or not based on that, right? So you don't want to give the store away. Put something newsworthy in your subject line. So today, what would be newsworthy might be, you know, down payment assistance programs, or, I mean, brand new construction homes. There's a lot going on here in our market. You figure out what you're passionate about, that you think in your world, in your market, and what your business is that is newsworthy, that you want people to be interested in, that they're going to open it, right? Avoid the bait and switch. Don't say something in your subject line that is not followed up in the body of your email, because your consumers are smart. If you do something and try to basically trick them to open it, and then inside it's not something at all what is related to your subject line, they're never going to open anything up again from you. So don't do that. And don't write subject lines like advertisements. And I guess the best thing I could say about that is that, you know all the crap you get in your inbox. I mean, we all do. You don't even want to see my inbox right now. I have over 100,000 unread emails in my junk email. And you know that most of it's advertising. So don't write it like that, because you're going to end up looking like everyone else, and they're never going to open it. Make them guess what's inside the letter, which is kind of a cool thing. It goes kind of toward the don't give away the store kind of thing, or ask a question, so that way they feel, you know, engaged to want to. But you always want to make sure that it's real estate related as far as that goes, okay? Don't just put something in there that they can't tell you're a realtor. And of course, don't turn them off in the first letter because they won't open it up, and try to keep your subject line shorter if you can. Now here's a tip, all right? Go into your inbox and take a look at some mail that you're getting from people, okay? Now, you go out and buy leads from Zillow, or you're doing ads on Facebook, okay? And then all of a sudden, you're getting leads. And the next thing you know, you might set up a drip campaign and have the from line in your inbox send out from someone like me, Patti Sampson, and then the subject line looks like this. Now, these are true, real subject lines that I have seen real estate agents do. I've been doing this a long time, so I've seen a lot. But I want you to take a look at this entire screen and tell me on here, where does it appear that I'm a real estate agent? Can you tell if the consumer is signing up for something, does it say I'm a realtor anywhere in here, or I'm writing about real estate, okay? Look at that now, and I want to show you a different screen. If you can go into your profile of any of your CRM or your email tools, change up your name in that as far as the profile goes, because when the email goes out, if it identifies you as an agent, that's going to be way better than just Patti Sampson, who knows who you are, right? If you can identify, and if you have a really long last name, who cares what your last name is right now? Just make sure they know you're a realtor. And that combination of doing that with your really good subject line, and here's some examples, is really going to be really powerful for you. So, you know, Mary, you know, you can see voice message about your home search. Everything in here mentions real estate or a house or properties or something, right? So if you were to get an email from Patti and the subject line said that, and you see these two, there's a really good chance they know I'm a realtor, right? So that's the key. That's the key to get your mail open. It's as simple as that. Just make sure that everything you write is related. And if you set up your from profile ahead of time, you're going to find how easy that's going to be, okay? So effective email subject lines, make sure you personalize the best you can. Yes, you can personalize templates, by the way. And by the way, for being here today, if you follow through, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get my favorite open, some of my favorite open subject lines. So at the end, I'll show you how to get to that. But this is really, really key. All right. So now, the things you have to think about when you're writing emails, and I'm not looking at my phone, so as I'm running out of time here, can you guys wave me down? Actually, it's 12:24. Okay, so we're going to probably go to about 12:40, and then I'll open it up for questions. 5 great motivators in your marketing content. First of all, fear. You want to scare them gently about the homes selling. So I say scare them because we just want to make sure that they're, you know, understanding that they better get on it or they're going to lose an opportunity, right? Exclusivity. What do you have that others don't have, right? Maybe you're offering up a great website, or you're giving them a rebate or coupons, low commission, or maybe you just have knowledge of the market and really great experience. You know, just make sure they understand that when you're writing your letters. And you want to make, everyone's all for money, right? So provide confirmation that they're receiving the best price and the deal and the highest savings. Maybe offer down payment assistance and that kind of thing, right? So if you have that, definitely make sure that they know that you provide that, right? And then guilt. Lay a little bit of guilt on them. One of my favorite lines in my emails is, I never want to be a nuisance, but, and that usually works. Of course, I'm not sending that out right off the bat, okay? That's is after a number of months that I haven't heard from them. But that really works well, and you're going to find people say back to you, oh my gosh, you're not a nuisance. I'm looking at everything that you send me. Great, then why didn't you respond to me? You know, but that's what you're thinking. So that's cool. And then need for approval. Just pat them on the back every now and then and let them know that they're spending their time the right way by looking at the right things, that they're making the right choices, or whatever it is that you're offering, that you just say, hey, you know, it's a great time to be buying and you're looking at the right stuff. Just kind of give them an approval that you're there for them to help support them through their decision making. Okay, your top tips when writing content. Number 1, offer services and provide informative content. I like to provide links at every opportunity because my CRM will tell me when people are clicking on links, okay? So I like to do that. And let me give you a tip on that. You know how you can find informative content? Go to the Arizona Association and go to your buyer advisory or your seller's disclosure. You can get a zillion links out of there and send people. Just be careful Don't oversend links, because sometimes people get link happy and then they don't write you back. And make sure you're not putting links in there that are taking them to see other real estate agents, okay? Do not use all caps. That's really cheap. It's like you're yelling at them. Keep your emails short. And if they need to be longer, use bullet points, okay? And put the most important thing at the top, okay? Personalize as much as as possible. So let me give you an example on that. You're doing Facebook ads. Maybe you're marketing for single level homes in North Phoenix, okay? You can actually have an entire list built for North Phoenix, but you can have a campaign specifically for that. So every time you're doing an ad, you want to make sure you've got a campaign specific to the ad. If you know you're going to get a lot of leads, or you're hoping, have your campaign ready for that ad, and it's specific to that area. You can, in most CRMs, you can have as many drip campaigns as you want, right? And let's face it, they're either buyers or sellers, so you're going to take a campaign that you already have, love, and like, just copy the thing and change out the first couple things that come out of it specific to your ad, you know? And so you're not reinventing a wheel every time, okay? Use their name if you can. You saw that earlier, as much as possible. You can do it in the body, and it can be done in a template field format. So you're not writing specific, if you're going to use a campaign template, you don't want to put somebody's specific information in there, okay? Because it's going to be used for all of your leads that are similar, right? Use hot button words: market, foreclosure, sale, down payment assistance, save, now, all these words that are hot buttons in today's market. And then ask them open-ended questions as much as you can, okay? Because the more you do of that, I usually will end my emails with a question almost every time if I'm wanting them to write me back, okay? And then, of course, at every opportunity that makes sense, ask for a response and an appointment. I mean, we never think about it, but you can still do that in an email or a text. And then use spell check if you're concerned about it. And let's just say, I will tell you this, that a typo here and there isn't going to end your career. And frankly, it makes you look a little bit more real. So don't get overly worried about that. Create email and text templates when you're going to say the same thing over and over again. So for me, my first templates were, I'm giving my lender information, right? Because I always use the same lenders. I'm going to give them options on my lenders. So I had a preset template for that. I mean, if you start saying the same thing over, then don't reinvent a wheel, right? Now today you can create video and insert video into your emails and text, so it's really cool. The CRM tool that I use does allow us to do that, and I love that because you can then just, you know, I can create, before I go to an open house, for instance, do a quick video in the clothing I'm wearing and put it in the campaign. And then immediately before they go out the door, a text is going out, or even as they're going out to the door, I'm adding them to my CRM while I'm sitting there. Boom, hit one button, a long-term campaign goes on for a year, they're starting to get listings, and they're getting a video from me saying, thanks for visiting me at the open house, right? How easy is that? Just take a template you have. So here's an example of an email and how it's built with fields in them so that you're not putting in anything specific that you can use. A drip campaign is something that will drip out long-term emails and texts if you have the software to do it, to continue to stay in front of them, okay? And so we never want to put anything specific in, but you'll see that I do put in the subject line in my CRM. I can do this. I put in the subject line the field, and then of course I will add in other stuff. Now this one here would be probably a campaign for a template, or a template for a campaign I'm doing in Scottsdale. Otherwise I could put a field in for Scottsdale, or I would prefer to do it like this because that way there's no risk. If I put a field in for Scottsdale, then I would have to be sure that that consumer had the word Scottsdale or whatever city it is filled into that right field. But you almost always have first names. And even if you don't, it won't pull in anything if you leave it blank. So, I mean, I go through training on that stuff. It's not too hard. Now, text templates, right? Here's one. Hi, it's me. This again is a template. Thanks for requesting the estimated value of your home. And are you looking to sell or just curious about your home's value? This is a simple one. It's not a yes or no. I'm hoping to get a response. Ideally, they give me some sort of something. Now this is going out the beginning of a seller campaign, right? The minute I get their email or their phone number, boom, I can turn this right on. And if it's automated in my CRM, it works out great, okay? Okay, how do you efficiently and quickly build your automation systems all in one place? Well, why aren't we automated now? I think we went through this earlier. I don't know how that ended up in there twice. So you do want to make sure that you have a CRM set up, okay? So that's going to be key number one, all right? And you've got one that you like that you're going to use, okay? So I'm going to take a second right now and see if we have any questions so far on this, because I'm rolling through it pretty fast. Oh, I did do it at 12:30. So can I see some questions? Is there any questions out there at all? Anybody? Beth? Nope.
No. Let's see. I have one question. Which is not related to what you were talking about. I'm sorry. So the question is about whether or not it's going to be recorded, and yes, it is.
It is recorded, yeah. Okay. So some of you might be wondering, you know, like I told you, I train agents all over the country. That's what I do for a living almost right now. I do still have a real estate business here. So I'm going to give you some information on being able to get a hold of me if you have an interest at all. But basically, what I do really is to help agents all over the country to get automated and organized. So I wanted to be able to get on and just give you a little taste. I know 30 minutes isn't really long to be able to, you know, really give you the whole shebang. But if you're at all interested, you can learn more by just going to this link down here, the bit.ly link, and we will send you out an email and some information if you're at all interested in learning more about what we do between drip campaigns pre-built already into a CRM that we love, and also just to have everything running smoothly. So if I can hit home anything, as we're waiting for any more questions to come in, you know, there's two really, really important things you need to know in every one of your databases so that you can turn on campaigns, okay? The first thing is, what kind of lead is it? Okay, is it a buyer, seller, sphere? Maybe it's a closed client, right? Maybe it's just somebody that you want to communicate with, and then your because you met them at a networking event, or maybe they're your neighbors. And then the other really, really important thing you need to know is what is the status, right? So what's the status? Is it brand new in your database? Is it old, stale lead that you haven't been able to get any communication out of, and you want to see if they're still interested? Is it somebody you're actively working with? Maybe it's a close client again. And when you know these two things and you bucket them up, right? And you'll be able to run a search in your database and then send out campaigns. So you're going to basically figure out what campaign get the campaigns in your system that you need. And I have every campaign for almost every kind of business there is out there. But if you want to write your own, just make sure you've got them long term. Now, long term means at least 1 year, okay? You want to have at least 1 year, and also send out listing notifications, okay? So that you are making sure that you're sending them something useful all the time. I'm going to go back up to my steps because I think that's important. This is about what you're going to do, that you make sure you have all of this set up. So you get your campaign set up for phone and or text. Make sure you pick up the phone when someone calls. Make sure you've got initial welcome emails, sending them what they signed up to get. Make sure that you are now starting to send them listings, and you can build it. I build it right into my drip campaign, which, by the way, got me on the first page of Google, right? Because I build it to go recurring. And that earlier search I asked you to check out, that's how I got there, right? Using my drip campaigns, sending them back to my site on a regular basis. It's built right into my campaign. Now, if you don't have that ability, you can do it through maybe your website or the MLS. I used to do it through the MLS, but I don't anymore because I figured, we know our average closing is like 5%. So I was letting the other 95% help me grow my business online, on my online exposure. And so every time they hit on it, even though I may never have worked with them, they were still looking at stuff. So they helped me get there, right? And then, of course, you want to have engagement go out that educates them and also, provides them anything that's going to let them know that you didn't forget about them, right? And then your follow-up, make sure you're doing your follow-up. So just be really, really good about not just putting some kind of junk out there, because people are going to catch on to that pretty fast. They can tell, and then they're not going to open anything else from you And you don't want that, right? So that's the key. So we have a free Facebook group. When you go to this link, when you also get to this link, we'll give you those free drip subject lines as well. So definitely make sure that you click over there, and we'll get you all lined up for all that stuff. And then if you want to learn more about how we help people to get more automated and organized, my goal is to help you close at least one more deal out of your database every single month. And so you know what that's going to do for your business. So, and it's all through follow-up. The money's in the follow-up, friends. So,
hey, Patti, can I chime in right here for a second?
Absolutely.
And, I'm going to just hop on here from the video standpoint. I think one of the key things, and you've done a great job in explaining, and Patti and I work together, is to know that in working with Patti, I can't even emphasize this enough, is that between the two of us, we have almost 40 years real estate experience. And based on our different positions in the real estate field, we have heard over and over and over again from agents the horror stories and the exasperation of you not having an effective automated system set up. And you can be automated, but the key is in the drip campaigns. And as Patti stated, in the subject lines and the drip campaigns, you can increase, if you increased one sale a month, that would be incredible. So imagine in a market where, let's say the average home is $200,000 to $300,000, you could actually, one sale a month could bring you at 3%. That could bring you $72,000 to $108,000 more in income. So if you don't have some kind of system in place with automated campaigns, do yourself a favor. Don't agonize, just do it. It's vitally important to a successful real estate business. So, Patti, glad we're working together, and thank you very much. And I don't know if anybody has any additional questions, Beth?
They do, yes. They finally started rolling in.
They woke up. Hopefully I didn't put him to sleep.
No, you wouldn't prompt them. Hello, any questions? And then they just stream in. So the big one that several people are asking is, walk them through the system that you use. The
system? You mean the tools, or just like, what do I do? Okay,
well,
so I get,
the system, so the actual CRM system that you use.
Oh, well, they can get all the information when they get to the link. I'm not going to tell everybody right here exactly which tool I use, because I'd rather have you understand why I'm using it, and we didn't have time today. But if you click on here, we'll take you through what that is. But there are a zillion CRMs out there, and here's what I'll tell you. We all have different ones, right? Or we've tried them all. And the bottom line is that there are 10 ways to skin a cat in any CRM, right? So I'm not approaching, what I'm explaining to you guys is not that you must do something the way somebody says you should do it. You need to understand there's always different ways to do things in every CRM. So I've worked in no less than 10 CRMs in my career personally, not to mention helping agents all over the country. I do have my preferred CRM today that I use, but I'm not going to badmouth any of them. What I'm going to say to you is that you need to use the one that you're going to feel comfortable in, right? That you're going to be able to walk in and use. Now, all my stuff is built up in a system already, and it's easy because I can share it, but you got to use the one that works for you. And so the bottom line is just make sure that, you know, we're teaching you how to do it as a realtor, not a tech person working at a CRM company who they're not realtors in the background, right? So if you click on this link, you'll get to it, and I just don't want to just start telling you go use it, because you really need to get the value out of using it the right way. And by the way, if any of you are interested in more, you can just Google my name, go to YouTube. I got all kinds of videos out there. So you can go start there if you'd like, but honestly, we'd really like you here, because this is going to get you into the free group and everything, and so that you're going to learn more about the best ways to use everything. So again, we're all using all kinds of different tools. Good question though. Thank you for asking.
So do you have any tips for how they get emails? Oftentimes the only contact information they have is a cell phone.
Yeah. You know what you got to do? You got to offer up something for free. Okay. So I know a lot of us are buying like Red X leads or seller leads somehow. We got phone numbers. send them back a text and tell them that you have a free guide or something like that. Would you like it? Okay, so that can be built right into your campaign, but offer that up and then say, in order for them to get it, they're going to need to get your email because you're going to email it to them. You can't send it through text. That's my tip on that. And it'll work good. It'll work good. It works really, really well, actually, for re-engagement too. So I've got a re-engagement campaign that I love, that people love, that works really well. So sorry, I'm getting a little thirsty. Yeah.
So I think too, Patti, your campaigns are proven to work. That's the thing. That's why you're such an expert at this, is because you've already made, you know, not just yourself successful, but others.
Yeah, it's kind of a game for me, but you know, I was fortunate because I could type so fast. So everything that went up here went into the computer pretty easily and more relaxed, you know, than it would have otherwise. So
we have a brand new agent out there who's looking for tips for how best to answer to keep clients confident in their ability. So
I love it. Okay, let me give you my tip because I train on, I love this. Well, first of all, the easiest thing to do as a new agent is to work buyers, okay? So I'm going to give you that tip. If you're lucky enough to go out, get some help from a really good listing agent that can take you along with them, that's fabulous. But the buyer stuff is easy. And I'm going to, if somebody said, well, as far as the emails go out, they don't need to know that you're brand new at this, my friends. They don't write that in an email, for goodness sake, you know. But when you get in front of them and they ask you how long you've been in real estate, you probably heard this, you're going to say, it just seems like forever. And you're going to change the subject really fast. So what I did when I first started, I would tell people, you know, somebody would ask me how long I've been in real estate or how many deals I did. I would say, well, my team and my team and I have done blah 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 deals. So that's a good way to deal with it. Another way to deal with it is to just say, you know, I've spent, just don't answer yet 10 years or 1 year or whatever. You're just going to say, gosh, you should hear my story of how I got into real estate. I quit my job cold turkey, you know, to go get my real estate license after 17 years, pushing paper from right to left. And it was the best thing I ever did. And that works so well because they're never going to ask you another thing. When you say it's the best thing you ever did, I mean, they don't know what that means. And it works really well. I got an answer for everything, by the way. Because I don't know if I told you, but I opened about 8,000 to 10,000 doors. Yeah, I'm mostly working for buyers. So hope that answered your question. But don't tell anyone that you're brand new at this in an email. That's ridiculous. Don't even bother. They're just going to be glad you're responding. So
what is your great tip for when you have these contacts, but you can't remember where you got their information?
I love it. Yeah, well, let me tell you a quick story about that. I had somebody I showed a home to because I was opening a lot of doors in the day, and I met them to go show them a home, and then the following year I was so busy, and I never found them a house at that time. But I was so busy, just doing my thing, trying to stay in front of everybody, and then of course raising these two kids. And a year later goes by, and they came online and scheduled another visit with me, right? And I didn't have time to go look into my CRM, but I did not remember their name. And I went out and met them, and I felt so embarrassed because that week or two before, while we were going back out the second time, I was treating him like I'd never met him before, the way I was talking to him and everything. I got out there to the house and went, oh my goodness, I met these people last year. Very embarrassing. So how do you manage it? The best thing you can do is to make sure that you track everything in your CRM, every conversation you have, every email, every text. If you've got a good email and texting system that's all built into your CRM, every bit of communication can be going in and out of that, ideally. Now, I will also tell you that if I end up emailing outside of the system, and let's just say your system emails out a drip mail, and then it comes into your inbox, maybe in your Gmail or your company's email, you're going to copy and paste the response back. So let's say they write you, and it doesn't end up in your inbox. It doesn't end up in your CRM, right? What you want to do is write the response back, and before you send it, you're going to copy your response and what they said to you, okay? You don't need to copy the email that you sent out because it's already in there. You're just gonna, what did they say to you, and how are you responding back, and copy that and just dump it into the notes. Now you don't have to reinvent a wheel. So if you've got a good CRM, you can track all that. And that's how we did it. That's how I still do it to this day, as a matter of fact. Because I want to make sure that I'm tracking everything so that a year from now I don't run into that boat. I mean, you will, because if you get busy, especially if you're doing a lot of internet business, you know, and putting in reminders to yourself to follow up on certain dates, and making sure that you don't turn a blind eye to those reminders are going to be really key, really key. And your CRM can do all that for you if you've got a good one. Yeah.
So, you know, Beth, people think it's really complicated. It doesn't end up being complicated as long as you get into a certain flow. Right. And some of these CRM systems are more complicated than others. I know the one that we work with is not complicated. It's not difficult to learn. But again, you know, it's going to take you a week, 2, 3 weeks to just consistently peck away at it. Once you get that down, it's a piece of cake after that. It really is. Yep,
it really is. You have to get into a rhythm. I should have had my little form here, but I had a, oh my gosh, my battery's running low. Hopefully it doesn't lose. We might need to finish up here because I'm sitting at my kitchen table. But anyway, so I had a questionnaire. I typed up my own questions so I would never forget. And on the front side of it, I would put all the make sure questions I asked every time I talked to someone. And on the back was notes to me. Did I put it in the CRM? Did I put in my follow-up? Did I send them listings? And I just checked it off, and I just put it in a pile. So that way, if you're talking to someone right now, and you know, you might not get time to get it in your CRM, so this will keep you handy. So I can either keep answering questions or go get my charger really quick, whatever you guys want.
I think we're done with the questions. There haven't been any new ones in a while, so I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and thank you. Definitely go to their link. I've seen the system they refuse to talk to you about right now.
Well, it's not news. I mean, again, here's what I'll tell you.
Gosh.
I can help you with any CRM you're in, okay? So that was another reason. I didn't want to just say, go use this one, because I can help you with anyone. It's more affordable and easier if you pick the one that we're using. So again, I don't want to, because here's the thing, if this is going to be evergreen for a while, if I next year decide to change up, I hope you understand, you know, and I'll move everything into a different system. But I do have different systems that I have stuff built up in. So I can help with any CRM and other stuff. So just reach out. We'll do our best to help you every way we can to make it fast and help you close more of your expensive real estate leads. Okay?
Great. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.